The list of young suspects accused of passenger attacks on RTD trains now gets a little bit longer. Hear how a judge handled their court appearances today.
The DPS school board may have voted no on closing 5 schools, but the question is, what now? The superintendent tells us what he's thinking.
We've had a lot of health impacts. The bloody noses, my children, the migraines.
The woman says she loves where she lives, but the area is making her and her family sick.
We start at 5 with 2 more teens now facing charges connected to violent attacks on RTD light rail trains in Lakewood.
The boys were in court today, and prosecutors say they're tied to 2 separate attacks. 9 News reporter Noel Brennan has been following the story all week for us.
Noel, we learned about injuries to one of those victims today.
Right. So prosecutors say a man who was attacked on November 3rd has 11 facial fractures. The boys who were in court today face charges for that attack, along with one that took place on October 14th. That was caught on video, and a warning, it's a bit disturbing to watch. So 9 boys are accused of beating up a passenger on the W line. That attack spilled out onto the platform of the light rail station at West 13th Avenue and Garrison Street. Prosecutors say that 45-year-old man was taken to the hospital and has serious injuries. The boys involved are between the ages of 15 and 17. All of them were taken into custody and are being held without bond. Lakewood police say there have been 14 reported assaults on the W line since July, but we don't know how many of those involve teens. RTD would not talk to us on camera today, but a spokesperson says transit police are going to continue patrolling the trains and the stations. Lakewood police are still investigating all of these attacks. Guys, they're asking any witnesses to come forward.
Yeah, so watching that video is pretty hard. Noel, thank you for the update.
I just got off the phone with Representative Boebert. I called her to formally concede this election.
Democrat Adam Frisch conceded this morning. Republican Lauren Boebert has declared victory in Colorado's 3rd congressional district. Right now, she's leading Frisch by 554 votes. That lead shrunk by about half yesterday after ballots with signature issues were fixed, and clerks counted military and overseas ballots. While it's close enough for an automatic recount, Frisch announced he didn't want any money spent on it because he just didn't believe the result would change. Boebert says she's now just looking forward to continuing her work in Washington.
We have to get the reckless spending under control. We have to be energy independent again. We have to push for American energy independence and even energy dominance. This is what's going to lower inflation. This is what's going to get the interest rates under control.
The 3rd district certainly favors Republicans, but their race became one of the closest in the country.
City of Denver is just weeks away from a program that will change, having residents now pay for trash collection each month. But a city audit found that this might not go so well. Auditor Timothy O'Brien says the service is too understaffed and the city is working with aging, unreliable trucks. He believes the current problems will only lead to worsening issues with things like residential service and missed pickups. We'll have more coverage on that audit coming up at 6 on Next. When the Denver Public School Board voted not to close any schools last night, parents felt immediate relief. But that might be short-lived relief, as the school district is still forecasted to be millions of dollars in debt. The DPS superintendent says there's not enough money to keep every school open going into next school year. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall spoke with Dr. Marrero, the superintendent, today about what could happen next.
Yeah, Jenny, Superintendent Dr. Alex Marrero says the district is forecasted to be in a deficit of $23.5 million next year with things as they stand. One school saved last night is Denver Discovery School. Dr. Marrero says even though it was saved by a no vote, it's unlikely that school, along with others in major deficits, would remain open next year. If the board continues to vote down school closures, the district itself has the option to do an operational closure, where Dr. Marrero, along with the administration, would close the school without a board vote. But he's hopeful that the school board will find unity in a decision in the future.
But there is no way that we can continue this way. So whether it's going to be unanimous, don't know, but it will definitely be a yes in the future. Just, it's unavoidable and inevitable.
Dr. Marrero says there were a lot of great ideas put out there last night, especially surrounding community engagement, that they hope to include moving forward as they find solutions to this major deficit in funding as well as the budget. He says the district has their budget meetings in January, so that's when they'll really have a better idea of the plans for the next year.
It's interesting, Angeline, that this could come down to just one person's decision instead of a board decision, because one of the biggest things the board said was this wasn't community-led enough. We needed more people involved in these communities. And ultimately, if this is a decision that has to be made and it comes to just a superintendent's decision, that kind of defeats the whole point.
Right, and I think that's what you're talking about when you heard from parents last night at the school board meeting. It's that they wanted more community engagement. They wanted more of a voice and more of a say. They wanted more outreach specifically with the families and the student population. But at the end of the day, you know, Dr. Moreau says that this is really a deficit issue and they can't have schools open if they don't have the money for them. And so while they would hate to close them unilaterally with a decision like this, you know, it might be unavoidable.
Yeah, it's a really tough decision someone has to make. Angeline, thank you for your reporting.
The digital divide has been an obstacle many households struggle to overcome, especially since the pandemic. But now the Denver Housing Authority is getting the word out about a new program that can help. The state has funding from the FCC for the Affordable Connectivity Program. It allows eligible households to get up to $30 off per month on internet service and up to $75 off if they're qualifying on tribal lands. They can also get up to $100 off a purchase of a laptop, desktop computer, or a tablet. Experts say this will increase access, which is the key in closing that digital divide.
It's almost like we've all come together and realized that the digital divide creates a complete gap in equity. And so everybody is realizing that and trying to come together to make sure that individuals have access, because access is completely key.
Households can go to the FCC's website to apply for the program. The Denver Housing Authority does offer assistance to anyone who needs help accessing the website.
We want to give a really big thank you to everyone for helping make yesterday's 9 Cares Colorado Shares telethon a huge success. Between the donations taken by our volunteers and those of you who used the QR code to make your donation, we raised $153,000. That translates to 459,000 meals that your donations will buy. Don't forget our 9 Cares Colorado Shares Holiday Drive. It runs until December 11th. You still have plenty of time to donate. And again, you can scan this QR code here on your screen if you would like to donate right now at home, no big deal. Or if you find yourself out doing some grocery shopping this week, I mean, everybody will be, right, for Thanksgiving, you can give at your local King Soopers. Your donations will help your local food banks feed Coloradans in need.
Yes, there is environmental injustice. I call it what it is, environmental racism.
Colorado may be known as one of the healthiest states in the nation, but a Commerce City woman says she and her neighbors' health are suffering because of where they live.